Before we dive in, this video is for educational purposes only. I'm a peer sharing insights, not your financial advisor. Always consult a professional before making major investment decisions.
All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to today's explainer. We're going to be totally demystifying the process of opening a bank account in the Philippines, specifically for foreigners and dual citizens. Look, if you're planning a move, figuring out where to actually stash your cash is pretty much step number one, right? But as you're going to see, it definitely takes a whole lot more than just waltzing into a branch. We've pulled together official guidelines, bank policies, and some real on-the-ground user experiences to give you the absolute complete picture.
So, here's the game plan for today. We're kicking things off with the Expat Banking Challenge, moving into requirements for foreigners and then tackling dual citizen guidelines. After that, we'll wrap it all up with top bank comparisons and a look at apps and customer service. Section 1. The Expat Banking Challenge, Navigating the Rules. Let's look at the literal rules of the road here. Now, here's a question we see all the time. Can foreigners actually open a bank account in the Philippines? I mean, it sounds like a straightforward yes or no, right? But honestly, it's really not as simple as just downloading an app from back home and hitting Open Account. So this really sets the baseline for everything we're talking about today. Yes, it is absolutely possible. But you've got to understand that Philippine banks operate under the incredibly strict supervision of the Bangko Sentral ng Philippines. That's the central bank. They enforce some serious Know Your Customer, or KYC, and anti-money laundering regulations. Because of all this red tape, non-residents outside the country face some heavy limitations. For the vast majority of cases, banks actually require your physical presence in a branch just to verify your identity. So if you're a tourist hoping to open an account while on a quick 2-week beach vacation, yeah, you're going to find that incredibly difficult, if not totally impossible. Moving right along to Section 2, Requirements for Foreigners, the Paperwork Protocol. This is the paperwork reality you absolutely need to be prepared for. Okay, so the absolute most crucial thing is having your documentation perfectly aligned. If you want a personal savings account, which, let's face it, you need for rent, groceries, or getting paid, you have to show up with a valid passport and a valid Philippine visa. But I really want you to look at that third bullet point, the ACR iCard, or Alien Certificate of Registration. Think of this little card as your ultimate gatekeeper. It is pretty much universally required for any long-term foreign resident, and it's a massive roadblock for short-term visitors. On top of that, you're going to need rock-solid proof of a local Philippine address, a declaration of where your funds are coming from, and, crucially, a local Philippine mobile number. And you know, this perfectly illustrates why that last requirement, the local phone number, is such a sneaky technical trap. Right on the official BDO UnionBank website, they state that if you're trying to open or manage an account online, you absolutely must use an active Philippine mobile number to get your OTP, your one-time PIN. They even specifically warn that if you happen to be in China, you might not receive these OTPs at all because of local rules restricting international SMS. It's just a prime example of how digital borders can seriously complicate expat banking. All right, let's jump into Section 3, Dual Citizen Guidelines, Navigating Multiple Passports. Now, for dual citizens, especially if you're holding a U.S. passport, things get a bit more specific. The reality is most online account opening systems in the Philippines just don't cater to foreign citizenships. So you're almost definitely going to have to walk into a physical branch, and sometimes it even has to be a larger, specialized one. And if you are a U.S. citizen, you're legally required to make an explicit declaration acknowledging FATCA. That's the law dictating strict overseas reporting requirements straight back to the U.S. government. So how are real dual citizens actually handling this when they walk into a branch? Well, we found this great insider tip from the FinInvest Reddit community, and it's a super pragmatic approach. This user says, only provide your other citizenship when asked. Due diligence is on the bank. Just bring proof of citizenship from the embassy. I love this because it's a great reminder. Yes, you absolutely must be truthful and totally compliant, but you don't need to overcomplicate the whole process right out of the gate. Hand over the required documents, answer what they ask, and just let the bank's compliance folks do their thing. Which brings us nicely to Section 4, Top Bank Comparisons, the Street View. We've covered the official rules, now let's get into the actual real-world user experiences. Let's put two of the heavyweights head-to-head here, BDO and Metrobank. Now, BDO's biggest flex is just sheer size and convenience. They have this massive, sprawling network. And since they're part of the SM group, you'll literally find a BDO branch in practically every single SM mall across the country. On the flip side, though, you have Metrobank.
Users frequently highlight them for having highly rated customer service and a really clean media record, meaning they've managed to dodge a lot of the bad press that other big banks have caught over the years. And just to show you how wild the contrast can be for everyday users, take a look at this incredibly passionate review from a local banking forum. This user is just raving about Metrobank, but completely goes in on BDO, saying BDO's customer services is, and I quote, absolute garbage. They swear that with Metrobank, one single phone call solves your issue immediately, and they even feel their money is more secure. This kind of raw, unfiltered feedback is so vital, right? It proves that just having the most branches doesn't automatically mean you're getting the best banking experience.
But let's be fair and look at the flip side to get a more nuanced picture. Because even with those customer service complaints, BDO still offers some incredibly practical products, especially for expats and overseas Filipino workers. Take their Kabayan savings account, for example. It literally has a zero maintaining balance requirement. The only catch? You just have to make at least one remittance into the account every single year. For an expat who's regularly sending money into the country, that is a highly accessible, super forgiving setup.
All right, finally, let's hit Section 5, Apps and Customer Service, Banking from Abroad.
Listen, if you're an expat traveling constantly or a dual citizen bouncing between countries, your digital banking setup is quite literally everything. Looking at the general community consensus, UnionBank is consistently praised as being leagues ahead of the pack for its app experience, plus they offer zero maintaining balance options. Then you've got BPI, another really strong contender. People love their user interface and security, that they do ask for a 3,000 peso maintaining balance. BDO sadly consistently ranks pretty poorly when it comes to both digital and overseas service.
And validating that exact point, we found another user who was giving advice to a student moving abroad. They stated flat out, I highly suggest avoiding BDO because of terrible customer service abroad. Instead, they pointed directly to BPI and RCBC as being the absolute gold standard for customer service when you're out of the country. Think about it. If you're halfway across the planet and your card gets blocked, you really need a team that's actually going to pick up the phone and fix it.
And hey, there are actual hard financial perks to choosing the right bank for your specific lifestyle too. Beyond just having a slick app, BPI gets a ton of praise in the community for offering significantly lower foreign exchange rates compared to other cards when you're swiping internationally. If your life is split between the Philippines and somewhere else, saving on Forex fees every single time you use your card, that is a massive, tangible benefit that adds up fast.
So, we've got to ask, what actually matters more to you? Is it the physical security of seeing your bank's logo in every single mall? Or is it that peace of mind, knowing someone's actually going to answer the phone when you call from overseas? Making the right choice here could honestly save you thousands in fees and spare you endless headaches. So, before you go ahead and book that flight, which banking strategy are you going to choose?
Hit subscribe for more wealth-building tips.